Hello everybody, this is Sherry at djsundry.blogspot.com and welcome back to the Simple and Clean card series. Now today's card is so simple and I wanted to incorporate watercolors. You might be thinking, watercolors in a simple card? Come back and we'll find out how it works. Okay, so I have gathered a few supplies here. I have this set from Prima Marketing that is the classic set. I've had this for quite a while, but I really like the colors in it, and we're only using one color. I have some watercolor paper. Now, I am going to tell you, I just have a big pad of Canson XL watercolor paper, and I have cut a lot of it down to be the size that I would want for a card, so I don't have to do a lot of extra stuff for it. So in this case, I've cut it to be 4 inches tall by 5 1/4 inches wide. I have a card base that we'll be using later. And then I have two simple stamp sets. These are old, they're retired. This is from the Flower Market stamp set. It's called Dreamin' Big Scrapbooking Seasons in Nature. Again, an old one. I'm using this big, bold statement because I feel like that's what's going to really make this card pop. And then I'm using a secondary sentiment from this Your Own Kind of Wonderful Occasions, and I'm using one that says You Are Loved. So let's just hop right into it because I want to show you how easy this is to do. So I'm going to open up my watercolors over here on the side. I have some water up here kind of off the camera a little bit. I have a clean one and a dirty one, and then I have this nice flat brush. This is not an expensive brush, it's just a simple flat brush. The reason I have it is because I want to take a lot of this and I want to just really flood this with water. Now first I'm going to be using an orange color, so I want to take some clean water and I'm going to set it off over here on my orange to start getting it wet so that it can start being ready to use. Okay, so we're going to just let that sit there while I take my clean water and we are going to just wash this card. Now I will tell you that if you really wanted your card to remain really super flat, you could tape this down. Now remember, right now what I'm doing is clean and simple and I'm making a bunch of them, and quite frankly I didn't have time or want to cut all of them down, and so the little curve that you see happening here does not bother me in the least, but I want lots and lots of water on this. Okay, then I'm going to take, I have a number 11 round brush here, and I'm going to dip it in, go back to my orange wash, and when I say clean and simple, I mean clean and simple. We are simply going to wash this, we're going to flood this whole, most of the background with brush strokes of orange. Now I say most of the background because I want some of the natural color of the cards or the watercolor paper to come through, and that's it. Done. I'm going to set that aside, and through the magic of videos we are going to work on the second part of our card. Now like I said, when I was making these I made, I think it was 24 backgrounds, and I did not heat dry them. I didn't do anything with them. With making that many, I just set them aside, and then by the time I was ready to start working on them for my final part of my card, they were dry, and actually they had flattened out. With watercolor paper, with this watercolor paper, with this application anyway, I will tell you that it actually, by the time they were dried, they started flattening out. You may even see it flatten a bit as the video goes on, so we'll just leave that sitting up there in that corner. So I'm going to get that out of my way, and then I am going to grab my stamping platform. Now I already have my stamp platform all set up here. I'm ready to go. Again, we're going to let that one dry, set that aside, and as I mentioned, I use that big Hello die. I think that the huge, stamp, and I think that that huge sentiment is what really makes this card work, and I cannot tell you how much I really like this card. So let's put that back in the view of the camera, and I am using this ground espresso archival ink. I wanted that bold color, This is something with this type of stamp. This is a very detailed stamp. So I think it's really important that you, if you're able to, that you do a stamp platform. If you don't have one, that's fine. You're just going to have to be really careful to make sure you get a good impression the first time. Even though I have done a lot of these, I noticed that sometimes I did have to go back in for that second impression. Okay, so I'm going to close that stamp platform lid over the top. I'm going to grab my stamp tool and I am just going to press it down really well. When I was washing the other ones, like I said, they really flattened out while I was working on the whole series. So if you wanted to, like I said, you could tape down your piece of paper to a board and that would keep it really flat. It is going to curve as long as you have that much water, as you saw that I put on there. But I just really like the effect that it gives to have it all over. And I'll just come back, and when it's dry, I'll use that. Now, what if you're only making one? Maybe you're in a hurry and you want to make a nice card. You see how quickly this card is coming together. You might say, hey, I'm in a huge hurry. Well, grab a heat tool. You can flatten it out or dry it off really quickly with your heat tool. And that's what I would do if I was just making one. And you see how quickly this is going together. So I'm going to set this aside. I'm not going to clean off my stamp right now, so I don't want to mess up my stamping tool, so that's why I'm putting that extra piece in there. And then we're going to go to our sub-sentiment. So I have this one that says you are loved, and this is, I really just wanted this really simple you are loved card. And I know that in this series I have been showing how to take it a little bit more complicated and put a nice card together. If you wanted to add elements, I played with this. I don't want to add elements. I like the way this is just simple, just the way it is. So I've got my card base here, and we are going to just grab the ATG. I think I went through the better part of a roll of ATG while I was putting these together because I really want them to be well adhered. So with, I think this is my 24th or 5th card, so it took a lot of ATG. And there, we're all done. Can you believe how fast that was? Now, I did play with maybe putting some sequins on here. You could do that. There are other embellishments in the stamp sets you could put on, but I liked it just like that. Clean, simple. Hello, you are loved. You can reach out and tell somebody you love them. You saw that didn't even take probably 5 minutes, start to finish, to put together, and it's ready. So I hope that encourages you to grab some watercolors. Throw a little wash down and head on out with a card so that you can tell someone that they're loved. Thanks so much for stopping by today, and remember, take some time to enjoy the little things. Have a great day. Bye.